Hello YouTubers, this is the Noobifier. Today I had a chance to sub in for Board Gamer on the Redacted podcast, a weekly interactive show about Star Citizen. I'm posting it up here in case you missed it, and I hope you enjoy.
It is Wednesday, February 7th, 2018. Welcome to another episode of Redacted, brought to you by Ting. How are you guys doing? I'm joined by Twerk17 and Noobifier. What's going on, guys? How you doing?
It's Wednesday, my dudes.
It's Wednesday.
My dudes?
My dudes.
Me and Twerk were
What's
laughing
up,
about that quite a bit the other day. We found a little meme board. And he's like, hey, what time's the podcast? And he's like, Wednesday, my dudes. Anyways, you had to be there.
He had a British accent, right?
No, this is definitely an inside joke that Soros is trying to talk about.
It's not
just
working.
Not going to work
It's not
right
working.
now.
It's
It
not
only
working.
works between me and Soros.
Okay.
No one else. And
Okay.
Green Fox, actually.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anyways, how you guys doing? Hopefully fantastic.
Good.
It's a blizzard outside, but I'm good.
That's why I don't live there
Ontario.
anymore.
Yeah.
Isn't it always a blizzard?
No. It was
In the
longer
winter
days of
time, there's a lot of ice and slush and wind, and it's cold and damp. It's not a good time.
You know
And
it
then the
sucks outside when
summertime,
you're excited that you own a
it's-
snowblower.
it's hot, and that's okay, but it's also humid as fuck. And
What's
so if
hot
you
for you?
oh, like
Probably
40 degrees
18.
Celsius. No, 40 degrees Celsius, which is
40 Celsius?
100
That's like a
that's-
fucking million.
that's
That is
104.
pretty hot. That's like where you go inside temperature.
Yeah, that's 104.
What?
Yeah.
It doesn't even get that hot down here.
Yeah,
It's not
dude.
ever 40 degrees in Ontario.
You are lying.
Like a cheap rug.
Like a cheap rug. Okay.
No.
I
Maybe
remember.
the thermometer on the car, you get in the car after it's parked in a parking lot, like baked like an egg kind of stuff. I've
Yeah.
seen it 43 there, but as soon as you start to move, it goes down to like 30 something Celsius.
Yeah.
For those of you that aren't
Yeah.
Canadians.
Anyways, this is why I don't live in Ontario. Here it just rains, and it's like 10 degrees all year round. But yeah, this week in Star Citizen, it's been an interesting one.
Has it though?
By
This week's
interesting,
been a
I
little
mean
bit
pretty
slow.
uneventful.
Yeah, I would say pretty uneventful. We're still like kind of in that stage of it's the beginning of the year, so the studio updates aren't going to be super exciting. They'll kind of be like a year in review kind of thing, and that's what we saw from the Frankfurt studio. Like usually when we see the Frankfurt studio update, I usually start getting excited, and they're going to show some cool stuff. And this one, they did show some cool stuff, but it wasn't the usual like, oh my god, UK update. Frankfurt update are always like just like usually amazing, right? This one was, I don't know,
Yeah.
wasn't that exciting.
I was
Okay.
happy to see a patch.
Were you though?
I mean,
so
I would have
didn't-
been happy
okay,
to
I know
see the
there's a
patch
lot of-
if the patch actually did anything. I mean, I guess it fixed the door
Yeah.
issue on the ships.
So Torque and I were talking about it earlier. I've noticed a drop in people who are playing. And it basically, I think, comes down to the fact where 3.0 had to come out.
Unplayable.
We all agree that 3.0 needed to come out eventually. Before Christmas was nice. I went through a little bit of growing pains trying to figure out what's special about it, like what drivers it doesn't like to work with, stuff like that. Anyways, I got it to work, and then you encounter once you do that, you get the doors and the guns not happening, and then I basically just go down my list of ships until I find a ship that has doors, and I fly it, and I just kind of disregarded it. But for those people that have just a starter ship or just a Cutlass, you get out there and the Cutlass has got no motors, and you waste an hour, over and over again. Anyways, I digress. It's understandable why maybe some of the people aren't actually playing because it's not worth it or it's frustrating.
Well,
So
I would say at this point, it's for me, and I've played a lot of it, and I've dealt with a lot of it. I would call this one unplayable. This current patch. For me personally, I tried to play it today, and for the first time, I said, you know what?
I did
This
that
game's
yesterday.
really frustrating me. I think I'm gonna stop.
I was getting
and
less sub 10 frames per second, and even with that, I still couldn't finish missions. They were still bugging out for me. And so I was like, okay, look, I'm just going to take a break till essentially 3.1. I'll jump on, for 10 minutes here and there just to shoot the shit and fly around for a little bit. But I'm not going to be putting in large chunks of time into Star Citizen. There's just no point right now.
It's too difficult to play. It's unless they figure out, and they could figure, and this could be before 3.1 that we're both playing again, I would say, Soros, is if they figure out what's causing that huge...
If they turn off interdiction.
CPU spikes or frame rate spikes, because they might have to turn off interdiction, because, Noob, I don't know how much you've been playing, but the caterpillar, like if you go in and get interdicted, you're getting interdicted by a caterpillar. If you kill it, it kills the server.
Well, this is the thing, it's like, does interdiction add that much to the game, so much that you're going to sacrifice everything else for it right now? Is it that important that it needs to be in right now? We know they can take it out in the back end. They've done it before.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we were getting better frames for that. But it's like, it's just... Right now, in my opinion, and I've said this to any of the CIG the devs that come in, and I'm happy to use my voice as much as I can to say this, take interdiction out until you have performance figured out. Right now, it's not adding anything to the game. It's not adding.
Yeah,
it's not adding significant gameplay.
It doesn't really add anything,
and it's not a challenge because they just blow up.
Or you can just fly past them. You just keep going.
Just fuck them off.
And the thing is like, and you see, there's been a bunch of posts, and I'm gonna pull one up here on Reddit right now. There's been some posts of screenshots of some of these things that it's like, maybe this is why we're doing this. So let me see if I can find this screenshot here.
While you're doing that, I have recorded a clip of video. Maybe this has happened to you guys too. I was interdicted while coming out of Port Olisar, and I was interdicted. I had that motion while I got off the ship, and I was walking around the pad. It was just interdicted with all the noise. It was just... Yeah, so even though I wasn't in the ship flying, like I was able to get out of the ship. It was in a loop. So whatever animation they have to show us that we're being interdicted with the flashing lights and the sound, that just kept going, even though I'd powered down the ship. I was like walking around. So again, only in alpha could you see that, and it's funny. But if I wasn't so open-minded to the state of an alpha, and let's say I was like a brand new citizen that had just paid $30-40 or whatever to get the game, I'd be like, what is this? Right? And of course
I had that happen today. Somebody popped in the channel and goes, what's going on here? Why is the FPS so low? What is this? It was somebody that didn't know what Star Citizen was. And it was just like, I just like kind of thought to myself, like, if I didn't understand the project, I would have a hard time like coming to a Twitch stream or like believing that this is like this is a game, like what the hell? And it's like, well, it's not really a game yet. Like, and I just went through the whole thing and it kind of explained it to him, like, this is an alpha, this is, this patch they put in a bunch of things, next patch they're going to fix the performance of the bunch of things that they put in. And he was like, oh, okay, cool,
see you in a year.
Yeah, so I have this up right now, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 enemy ships that were interdicted here. And then the problem is not only are you getting interdicted by that many ships that then all has to run on the server and that gets sent to everybody, but these aren't like single-seater fighter ships. These are things like constellations and caterpillars.
With cargo.
Not only that, but filled with cargo and stuff as well. Just like all of this extra stuff that is completely unnecessary at this point in the game. That is just bogging down the servers. And I get it. They want to test that out. And I get testing that out for certain periods of time, saying, hey, we want to test this and focus testing on the interdiction. Let us know how you like it and whatever. We know frame rate's going to be low for the next 3 hours. Okay, we're gonna test it and then we're gonna remove it or something. But right now, I get it that if they want it in there for people to test it, that's cool. But nobody's gonna test it if everybody's frames are like 7 frames a second. Nobody's going to test anything, and you're going to get no or very little data from what you could potentially be getting. I'd love to be able to go in and keep smashing my face up against these missions, trying to get them to work, but that combined with the super, super low frame rates. Like, listen, 20 is still a low frame rate. That's pretty hard to play at, but at least I can somewhat, play it. It doesn't, like, super stress me out. Anything, like, lower than 10 is just terrible.
And not to continue this train of hate, if anyone detects that, but effectively,
I have no problem. I want to make it super clear to CIG.
Okay.
That
I don't even need to join a party anymore, because I know if I join Crusader, that the people that I want to play with are in there anyways, because there's probably only 1 or 2 servers. So that just proves to me the population isn't engaged anymore, and they're not necessarily shut down, but they're waiting. I noticed
they're gonna wait. Yeah.
Viewer count is down on YouTube. Maybe that's just because my videos suck, but
down on Twitch too.
Okay, so it's systemic, and that's, again, it's fine. It's normal around January to see the lull and everything. But again, I think it'd be better not to wait until March to try to make it better, to try to invigorate the community again.
This isn't salty source. This is realistic source.
Yeah,
it's just it's the realism of it. It's just sort of how it goes right now. That being said, we do have a whole doc of information we want to cover this morning. But before we do that, what have you guys been up to other than I guess I'll start with you.
I cleaned my keyboard. It was like a really big deal for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I got some audio setup stuff finally complete. My whole audio setup's complete. Been doing a home renovation a little bit, just painting basically. Bought a new couch, things like that. Really nothing.
I heard you bought a $3,000 couch and you don't know what it's made out of.
Yeah.
Goat skin.
Doesn't matter what it's made out of as long as it looks good and fits the space. Oh. And it may be $3,000, but it was 12 months, no financing, APR, zero APR financing or whatever. So I'm just gonna pay it off over time. Basically, is why I bought it. Couches are not cheap if you want a decent one that's gonna look good and last a while. I spent, half that on the last couch, and it's sitting outside my house right now because it's a piece of shit. So I decided,
is it a patio couch now?
It's a patio couch. Actually, my girlfriend took a nap on it the other day.
Outside?
Because we don't live in Canada. We can go outside right now. Yeah. So it was pretty nice. But so we're just I'm getting ready. My birthday's at the end of the month, so my family's coming to visit and all that. So I'm just kind of been preparing for that and working a lot. So I actually, like we were talking before the podcast, like I didn't even know there was a monthly report. Like that's how disengaged from like everything I've been over the last few days. It really sucks. I hate when it's like that, especially when I come on the podcast. I feel like I'm not prepared, and this week I don't feel very prepared. I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay. But you've been playing some City Skylines. You've been playing some.
I played Tarkov for the first time today.
Yeah.
And I played The Long Journey Home for the first time today.
And that was that space game where you're a Windows 98 mouse click pointer.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then the other view, it looked like a Hull B or something.
Yeah,
kind of.
It's a cool little game, and I think you guys should check it out. It's in Humble Bundle too. I didn't know that, and somebody mentioned it today, so it could be cheap to pick up. I paid $20-$30 for it, but you guys can pay like.
What game would you most compare that to? Like, what's the closest other game that's popular? Not saying that one's not popular.
It's like, apparently I haven't played this one, but it's a mix between like FTL and Everspace, maybe.
Nice.
Was what I gathered from it?
Yeah. Right on.
Like a combination. It's called roguelite. That's like the style of game, a roguelite game. I liked it though.
And
what about you, Noob?
So it's been a while since I've been on the podcast. So hello, everyone.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks. I've been working on the roadmap that was released. Rather than breaking it down month to month, like the quarters, I decided to approach it more horizontally, going one video talking about all the gameplay that we're going to get in this year, and all the ships we're going to get in this year in a line. So that was fun. And then obviously the calling a dev, reverse the verse, these types of things are right up my alley because there are lots of information in, and some people don't have a lot of time. And it's just my thing. I like to take that and condense it down to like 30 or 40 seconds. And hopefully all you guys at CIG understand that I'm not making fun of the fact that it takes an hour to have a show. Honestly, I know that the community would lose their mind if their show was 5 minutes long, right? So I guess you have to put on a show.
But there are some people that are starved for time. And
right.
So
and it's
you fill a void there with that. We're not just starved for a time source, but like not everybody wants to be fully engaged in what's going on with Star Citizen, like, and follow every little thing. They want to just get a quick, hey, what's going on?
So
let me pop in and check out.
I've got guys that say, I'm driving home and I just put it on because YouTube, even on data, it doesn't burn too much. And they're like, I know that if I start one of your videos, I can get caught up to date in traffic and then carry on. So that's really where I've been focusing. I've been doing a little bit of org stuff and then just trying to optimize 3.0.1 to see if I can find any tricks and make it a little bit more reliable. So that's where I've been last week.
Mm-hmm. And for myself, I've just been playing a shit ton of Escape from Tarkov in the evenings.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
I was working overnight, and I had my phone on the computer screen, like I had it laid up on the computer screen, and I was watching him play, pretending like I was working. And people would come up and be like, "Can I help you?" And I'd just be like watching you while clicking the mouse and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's been something I've been playing in the evenings, been enjoying quite a bit. It's at first I didn't really like it. It's one of those games that personally I hate it solo. As a solo game, it's terrible, in my opinion. But with a group of people, it's a ton of fun. And so I've been playing with a pretty steady group of guys, and it's been really fun. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that being said, if you guys have any questions, !! Question in chat, or remember you can either fill out the form or you can call this toll-free number at 1-833-872-4242. That is free to call from anywhere in the world. Feel free to leave a call in from there. I know we have one in there already. Otherwise, feel free to click that link and fill out that form, and we will get to those questions at the end of the podcast. So yeah, Twerk, I will let you take it away.
Okay. I was just gonna say maybe you should take it away a little bit. I've been having these weird bouts of like dizziness today. I'll be fine, but like just
okay.
Bothering me
I just don't know
what
this stuff, like, I don't know. AI is taking a big step apparently.
Yeah, it's ATV. It was the Foundry 42 update, and they said that the AI was taking a big step. So they did where they moved it from what was it called? Hythera to Subsumption, and they're still working on that stuff, but it's been taking a big step lately. If you want to bring up the loop video, that was just a quick one.
There's I don't have a link beside it.
No, the next one.
Oh.
Just below it, for the weapons. I think this is the coolest thing, is some of the weapons that they've been working on. They have a laser weapon and the Mantis rework. So the first one is a laser weapon, and they're between sizes 1 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see them on some of the larger ships. And then they didn't tell us until now, and I don't remember them saying anything about it, but they're reworking the Mantis, and they're getting 3 sizes of them. So we're going to get a size 1 Mantis, a size 2 Mantis, and a size 3 Mantis. So the current one we have, I believe, is size 3.
I thought it was a size 2.
I thought it was 3.
3.
Is it 3? Okay.
Yeah. Because it would go on the wings of the Hornet, right?
And
the wings and the nose mount. So size 3. So now we can get them on like smaller ships. So it should be pretty cool to have like a little mini Mantis gun.
Well, think of like something like the Avenger that has
twin link.
It has a little Gatling gun on the front, right? And then putting Gatlings on the wings. Same thing with the Gladius. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, and if they start to let us match speeds, like if the weapon comes out that it's more accurate because the speed of the projectile is based on the amount of powder behind it, so they should all technically have the same caliber and speed. You'd think like that would be realistic. So if you had that case where you had your size 3 on the front of your Avenger, you pair it up with some other Manti, then they all line up and you get that 1 point of aim, and it's just a death machine.
And also,
now, granted, it is a size 3 weapon, but I'm curious, like,
how they're going to shrink
how will
it
it
down.
do size 1 and size 2? Yeah.
Well,
maybe it'll be less barrels. Maybe a size 1 will just be like 2 or 3 barrels. Size 2 would be 4 or 5, and then size 3 might get an extra one or something like that.
Yeah. Saber with 8 size 1 twin link.
That'd be sweet.
That's ridiculous. And then speaking
size
of weapons,
would just be a BB gun.
There was
it just comes right off.
Our first view of this rocket launcher.
Yes. So I'm glad they're still working on this stuff. Is with the ground to air, because we have the railgun and it's great and all, but the fact that we have a missile launcher in particular,
a tank, like it's natural. You have tank, rocket launcher. It's all about that balanced triangle, which is great.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. It looks like the railgun, but like, where does the missile go?
It loads in there.
How do you?
Out.
Yeah. How do you load it in? All that stuff. Where do you hold it?
Probably on your shoulder, I would imagine. It looks like there's like a shoulder sort of
no,
cut
where do you
out.
hold the extra missile?
Oh. Yeah, that's something maybe you have to carry around in the vehicle or something.
Perhaps, instead of on your person.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe you can carry one missile on your back.
Yeah.
And then you carry that on your shoulder.
That's what friends are for. They run with the missiles behind you.
Yeah, all your buddies all carry a missile, and they load it in for you. Yeah.
Walking around like that.
I got it. Just like running down.
Fire! I like the LMG look. I like the little circular barrel or like magazine or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is good. This is natural progression. This is the type of extra stuff. Like if you're thinking a game like PlanetSide Battlefield, there's a wide range of tools in the tickle trunk. So it's nice to see, and it's definitely, if they start to add this stuff functional to Star Marine and that type of thing, where you can go and physically try it out, then obviously it's definitely additive.
We also saw
it's additive art wise. We're still waiting for the additional gameplay and stuff to be additive, right? Hopefully soon. They're getting the stuff down for art and chips.
Yeah.
Now it's we hope they get the gameplay.
We also saw the reworks the initial work for Lorville and Hurston, I believe.
The Hurston, Lorville's on Hurston. So Hurston is the company that owns.
Right, but what was the one with all the vegetation?
The vegetation was a random planet, I think they were showing.
Okay.
So, but then they go and they kind of showed their additional work on Lorville, which is on Hurston. Specifically, what I thought was the coolest was the Hurston Dynamic store, where you go to buy the weapons, and they have the big statue of the guy.
Big statues and stuff, yeah. I was just really excited about this. I wanted to see, and I'm talking about the vegetation that's up right now.
Yeah.
I really wanted to see a lot more of the diversity in the biomes and a lot of work on that. And we really haven't seen a lot of work on that lately.
No, it doesn't feel like a moon anymore when you see that image. Yes, the FPS was like negative in this video, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah,
but they'd also mentioned that using the cam and concealment of the trees, like the guys are joking that in one of the demos, it clipped in, like the trees clipped in, and before that you could see the people or you see the dude on the ground. But the intent, I think it was one of the question periods, it effectively confirmed that your character will be able to hide in trees. As the tree level of detail pops in, you'll still be concealed, which again adds to some really good
Treehouse Citizen.
You got your intelligent, Treehouse Citizen, Swiss Family Robinson Citizen. But no, it's obviously, again, we're getting into that area where you've got almost Battlefield, Wing Commander, and PlanetSide all together in one game.
Yeah, which is what we thought we were getting. That's what we thought we were getting. That's what was so exciting about the project, is it's starting to come to life a little bit.
Now, another really thing that sort of tied into that we also saw was a concept work of Olisar. And I have a link for that. Give me 1 second. And this showed some vegetation in there, added a little bit of greenery in some concept art. So it looks like Olisar is going to get another overhaul.
Yeah. Well, I think this is probably their beginning steps, because they said they were going to take Olisar and move it into the truck stops and that tech that they've been working on, and now this will probably, I guess, might be its final resting place.
The current one is pretty dank. The current one's all like scuzzy, and I mean the best part about it is the Benny's machine.
Mm-hmm. This one makes it feel like a space mall.
Yeah,
that's what those trees and those like planters remind me of, like the mall.
Oh yeah, like I never really like noticed them. I was more looking at like the big glass windows and, and all that.
But even that, like
I looked past all the trees, now I can't see them.
There's a mall in London, Ontario that has a big glass roof over it. It's a pretty dead mall now, but it's right downtown. And then there's like they have like these trees and bushes and stuff in there, and it feels very similar to that. Even with like the seating and the waiting for shopping areas and stuff for people to sit down and whatever. So
yeah, Pepperhat said, "Will Santa be there during Christmas?" Good shit. Yeah, you go and sit. See that chair with the magazines? You go and sit right there. That's where Santa will be waiting. All right.
So to make that a mall, they need to put a Starbucks in it.
Yeah, that's good. And
a food
pretzel
court.
Place.
They need a food court.
Atmosphere.
Just in general, a food court with like a taco time and like an A&W and a pretzel place, an ice cream place. What else? And a bunch of like random one-off Chinese food places. So just another question reminder, guys. If you have any questions for us at all, instead of typing them in chat, !question in chat, or call that number 1-833-872-4242.
Now this next thing is probably we're moving into the RTV section, and this next thing was probably the most interesting, in my opinion, from the week, was the clarification on the
piracy stuff, because there was some I don't know if it was miscommunication or misinterpretation.
That, it was miscommunication.
It's anyways, so everybody had thought that, including myself, after reading the post that I forget, Will Maiden, I believe, put up, that he said that there were no plans to let pirates keep the ships that they were stolen, that they would despawn after your current session. And that was clarified that is only for 3.0, 3.1, maybe 3.2. But that is not the long-term intention. The intention with
the way he said it made it seem like it was the long-term.
Yeah, and that he had no idea of the ship ID numbers and all of this other stuff as well. So that was a little confusing, and I know a lot of people, grab their pitchforks and stuff, and I specifically had said, I'm going to hold off until I hear something, because we're going to hear a clarification on this for sure. And until I hear something from either Chris or Tony Z or anybody like Luke, anyone that has to do with a sort of final.
Like a pretty big big designer. Like does a lot of stuff. I think he just is somewhere in the conversation we didn't realize that he was talking about the current build.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Or it just wasn't clarified.
So I have one thing that I'd like to say about that is you got to understand, and I'm not saying that you have to understand, but we have to understand that there's obviously this thing that they're going to try to prevent an exploit, right? And the biggest exploit from day one that I always thought about is what happens if Twerk said, "Hey, I'll give you $100, and you just get out of your ship and float away from it, and now I have a javelin," right?
Yeah.
So obviously that can't happen. But at the same time, the legitimate piracy where someone boards and goes through and exits you from the ship and then steals it
needs to still happen for all the
so that has to happen. But how
other
can a computer
mechanics
differentiate between the two, right? How can a computer system differentiate between those two? And are we going to have like a moderator who goes and audits every single game transaction, like a game master that checks?
I still don't think they know how that's going to work.
Right, and that's the point I was saying, which is why I think the confusion occurred, because it's a natural step to just say, well, the easiest way to prevent it is to just disallow it. and say, no, that won't happen. So that's, I think, why most of the community, even though they said, yeah, that's possibly the only solution, and that's maybe why some people got upset about it.
Now, somebody said, why did it was Skyven that says, why did it take CIG so long to clear this misunderstanding up? I think they cleared it up pretty quickly, in my opinion.
They did it on the next
within
show.
a week. So I don't think it took them a long time at all. I would actually like to praise CIG for addressing that as fast as they did. I didn't think it was going to get addressed for a while.
And they addressed it on video. I think what Skyven means is, why didn't they address it in that thread right there? And then,
yeah, like a retweet immediately.
Because I think it makes for content for their videos is probably why.
But they could do both.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, true.
All right.
Speaking
because
about
I
these,
don't read the forums that often, but I do watch all the videos.
I do like the fact that these that we're able to ask now almost seemingly twice a week and get answers through Spectrum. Like you were doing it today to work on your stream. You were going through the questions and upvoting the ones that you like. And
that I thought were important, yeah.
Right. I suggest to everyone who's watching to take the time and do that, or else you can't be pissed off about the types of questions that are being asked, right?
Exactly.
If you don't do it, then you've basically got no opinion.
Yeah, I think even I will be doing the same thing. We'll maybe dedicate a day to it or something.
Take advantage of it.
Exactly.
This is the single best show they've ever made, and that's the reason why.
Law and will be solar and local based. So they'll be based on the solar system and the local based.
Said laws.
Mm-hmm.
So the laws will differ between each solar system and even on each planet.
And I mean that makes sense because you have some areas that are UE based and some areas that are not. But even those places that are not UE based, I imagine they'll still have their own local law. Even
or
outlaws
or whatever.
Outlaws will still have their own sort of base laws.
Have a code.
Even. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even on our planet that exists, right? You go to Korea, for lack of a yes, it's topical. You go to Korea and you go to Canada, United States. They're all different rules, right? You can get away with some things in certain places, and then you get thrown to prison for something that you would not even be considered arrested for. So it's I like it because you're going to have to do your research and figure out what you can and can't do in different places and guard against it.
For sure.
They also brought up Capture the Idris, which is something we hadn't heard about in quite a long time. At least from
that was to make it Idris into an FPS map.
Pretty much making an Idris into a level. And they basically said they aren't working on it right now. So,
but it's still planned.
It's still something
they're talking about right now.
It's still something they want to do.
And we're all sitting here just like, well, you have the Idris. Like,
how much work is it? It doesn't seem like it's a lot of work to implement.
But we don't know what it takes. Yeah. I think it comes down to, it's like, we're not working on Star Marine or AC. We don't care.
Or maybe the Idris makes a crappy. Maybe it makes a crappy FPS map. Like we don't even know.
If it makes a crappy FPS map, that's not a good thing because they
should be designed around that.
Should be designed with FPS in mind and boarding in mind, because that's
what they're for.
That's the whole point. Yeah.
Like they need to be functional from a ship perspective, but they also need to be functional as an FPS level as well.
Exactly, all of them do, especially the big ones.
Yeah,
you know. There needs to be choke points and whatever.
And this is for Star Marine. They're adding REC as a currency.
Yep. So I'm new, but you could take the rails on this one because you were a little more informed on it than I was this morning.
So as far as I think that this was from RTV. We're talking about getting the Voyager Direct store going away.
Which was
REC
good.
potentially going away as well. And the only thing, so let's start at the beginning. Any purchases that you made with Voyager Direct in the past, and that was using effectively real money to buy fake fake guns. Right? That's really the chain.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
It's about 100 UEC per $1 And originally the prices were set pretty high. So I think I bought $48 worth of 2 guns. And at the time I was a brand new citizen. I thought it was awesome. And I felt a little bit trapped after, because then they came out with REC. REC effectively made my previous purchase junk. And yes, technically, I could still use those guns in the future. However, my question was always, because I paid real money for that Voyager Direct gun, is that basically kind of like an LTI gun that, you know, it would suck. You paid $48 for a thing, and then you lose it once in universe, and because you paid for it real, like you pledged for it, sorry, you would almost think that maybe it would be persistent or, you know, have LTI on it. So I think this is their way of getting rid of that whilst also transitioning over to an in-game currency system, which we desperately need, because then that's the beginning of the whole drive to get people to play and grind for cargo missions so they could go buy guns for their saber. And, you know, it's just awesome gameplay and game future.
No. They mentioned specifically with that as well that anybody had purchased something through the Voyager Direct store, and they don't know how they're going to do this yet. If they're going to, because there are some things that are no longer in the game, period. So I believe it's like the workbench. And I think the workbench, right? The one that was used for overclocking or whatever. I don't think that's going to be used for that anymore, being as you have like whole things for that.
Ships and things.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that there will either be a mix of mandatory and optional.
Your posters. You might probably be able to keep your posters and that stuff.
They're just going to refund all the rec entirely.
Refund my fish.
No. So I actually have a point on that too. Now, those people that have spent, and we're talking about guys that have 2013, 14, 15, like they've been here a lot. And some people have injected money in Voyager Direct and bought stuff. So,
I've picked up all the hanger flare and everything with that.
Right.
Yeah.
So think about this. From your perspective, let's say you had $50 in UEC and it was refunded. And then every single time they have a new patch, you start it with more AUEC, which is a nice perk, right? You get something out of it. And then day one, you start the game with that UEC and you get value out of your pledge. If let's say you bought every single gun in the Voyager Direct store and you had like $1,000 in UEC, if all they did, and this is
this is what I was getting to, is it may not be UEC that they refund to. They may just refund right to store credit.
Right, and that would be lovely. So if we could get, let's say, 100% refund of Voyager Direct, but then an option, maybe a one-shot option to decide how much you want transferred back to, or 100% just gets transferred back to store credit, and then you can buy UEC with it.
You could either buy UEC with it, and they move things like the stuff that's still in, like the posters and the fish and stuff, over to like a money thing. Like it costs $1 for the fish or whatever.
It would give us a chance to organize exactly what we want without having to go down item line one by one for every single citizen to decide, do you want UEC? Do you want to pay out in this? You know, like, do you want to keep your posters and all the stuff?
They have to do an automatic system.
Yeah. One dump, massive dump back to credit. I like that idea, Source.
Yeah. And it transfers over perfect. We know the price of all the items, and we know 1,000 UEC is $1. So it all works over perfectly. And then moving forward is docking. So this is things like the P52, P72, and the control module for the Caterpillar. It is still planned. They still want to do it. They just don't have any idea of when we're going to see it in the game. So stop asking about it already.
Yeah, that's right. I wrote stop asking about it. They've been asking about it for so long. And what's been kind of annoying for me personally about that is, we're working on it.
It's like the modularity
today.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they said, Elboon was working on docking this week. And it's like, sweet. So we're going to have it in game soon then. Nice. But then it's just never making it in. So I'm glad they were just like, all right, docking, it's planned, but we have no plans with it yet.
Yeah, docking confirmed in Star Citizen.
Yeah, and that's it. Just leave it alone. It'll be in, they'll talk about it when they start working on it and showing it when they start working on it.
They'll probably talk about it for months before you actually see it, right? Just like normal.
A few months before, most likely, right? And they'll actually start talking about it. It is annoying because they sold the Merlin, they sold ships that dock, With certain size ships, like going to Grimhex with a Caterpillar or a Starfarer, you can't really land.
But like I said, the same thing can be said about modularity, and a lot more ships are affected by that as well.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree with you.
But that's like a beta. That's near the end, isn't that a near the end
because
thing?
it's a ships thing, noob.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things where, like, are they going to have to reiterate these ships again?
No,
to add the modularity.
Like,
to them?
especially
I'm sure the
with
Caterpillar was built from the ground up with that in mind, right? All the nodes and everything for well, even the Connie, when they rebuilt the Connie, they built it in 4 parts for modularity. They specifically said that, and I'm quite sure maybe we can get some comment here about the Cutlass is supposed to have a certain level of modularity. It might be cool if when they built it, the center module, the whole middle just comes out and is interchangeable nice and quick. So I'm okay with the Caterpillar being, I just said Caterpillar, Caterpillar having just cargo for now, because we don't have any of the other baseline game mechanics. But when we get medical and when we get scrap and all the other mechanics, it would be very cool if those ships were made available with the appropriate module for the game mechanic. Lots of words.
Yeah, but words that make sense. And I doubt those modules will come when they're ready, because we're hearing when they're going to be ready.
Right, and especially with when we hear these, we have these different game mechanics in the game, and these modules may or may not affect that. Like, I don't know if is there a mining module coming for the Caterpillar? I have no idea. Is the refining modules coming for the Caterpillar? I don't know.
We don't know.
Right?
We don't know. Well, we saw a bunch of ideas that they had way back, right? But we don't know what they actually plan on doing with it. And,
like, what is it capable of doing?
It's very open-ended. They can constantly, over the years and months or whatever, they can add whatever they like.
Exactly.
To it.
But it still would be nice to know a base of what is going to be available at the beginning with that kind of stuff.
But it's another one of those things where it's like they don't know, so how can they tell us?
And then
possibly
moving into the calling all devs this week, they fixed the golf ball basketball thing. Apparently they wanted to add stick skeletons in there, but then they decided against it for whatever reason, and then they joked around about putting Chris's face on the ball, which would have been hilarious. Yeah.
It would be funny unless you were the person who actually wanted to play Star Citizen and couldn't.
Damn it, Chris.
Yeah. And then they asked about interior ship decoration and customization. And that's
our boy Matt Sherman was there.
Yeah, that's basically it's planned, but we're gonna have to wait for it. And I don't know what's with these fucking space games and bobbleheads. But that's like the least customization I want to do on the interior of a ship.
Super Mac Brothers bobblehead on your Cutlass.
Like, I would rather be able to maybe change the colors or something. You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's coming too.
No, I know, but
next
I'm just saying it's like it's in a lead. It feels like it's coming to Star Citizen. It's like, what's with the bobbleheads? I don't get it. I don't get what the joke is. It's over my head, I guess. And then the API with Mobi
stuff.
That was a stretch goal, just like the interior ship decoration. And we got the same answer for that. It is coming, and it is something I want to do, but you're gonna have to wait for it. It's not something that is important, and I agree. Neither of those things are really important at this stage in the game, so they're going to be much later on. And then they brought up
those were two questions that I did not upvote for this week.
Yeah, they're just throwaways, literally a waste of time.
Yeah.
Redeemer.
So getting back to that thing, if you just one sec, if you see a question on, don't just upvote shit because you like it. If it doesn't make any sense as a question, please don't upvote.
You can actually get legitimate answers.
Yeah, because you're just
for things that are happening soon. Yeah,
you're wasting everyone's time. Thank you. Sorry.
Then they brought up the Redeemer because a lot of people were asking about that. I at one point even owned one of these things.
They finally shot it down, I think.
But it's not planned for a while, and it's probably going to get reworked pretty heavily. So it's going to either be a gunship or a dropship. I feel
so like they're at the point where they don't even know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like that's how far off that ship is. Which means like it's probably going to have to go through additional concept, probably going to have to go through like the full
it won't look
rework
like what it
style.
Looks like now. Like it doesn't look like
it needs to work for the rest of Star Citizen.
I don't think it looks like an Aegis ship. The engine design is too unique for it to fall into the the style guide for all the other ships.
But isn't that what makes it what it is too? So it's like it's going to be a tough line to walk on with this ship,
especially being as it's a player created.
Yeah, but aren't most of those players
very weird
devs now?
No, one of them, I think.
I think there's a couple of them. I think there's a couple out of that whole competition that became devs. Yeah.
Elwin was one, and he's a big guy in LA now.
So whoever said melt now, no, I wouldn't melt now. That was a fairly inexpensive pledge, $250, and the way that things have been going.
Noob.
No, listen, everything in context.
Compared, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go over the Starfare. What was it, 195 when it first came out, and then it expanded. The BMM was 250, and then it expanded. So
the Orion.
Yes, the Orion. Yeah. Holy crap! So. Okay, I know what you mean. Yeah, okay, value. Okay, I get it. But let's put all that stuff aside. Whoever has it, if you've had it for a while and it's like an original one, to wait this long and then just melt it just before you're like 1 year away from them coming up with something quite fantastic.
Well, they didn't say they were 1 year away from it, though. They said it's not going to be for a while. So if there's something else that you think that you're like, oh, maybe I'd like this instead, then maybe you should go after that instead, especially since they don't even know what this ship is going to be anymore.
But I don't think that thing is going to come out and be a dog. I really like.
I don't think any of their ships are going to be, right?
The Cutlass, for example, was a absolute dog, and now it is one of the most favorite ships in the universe. And it's beast.
Yeah.
And then the last thing they addressed was Tessa. Bannister is going to be back. So they wanted to bring her into 3.0, but they didn't for one reason or another. And they're waiting for the scanning missions. So she's the perfect mission giver for scanning missions. So she's going to be coming into 3.1, did they say, or 3.2?
They didn't say a specific time.
They didn't nail it.
They just said in the future.
Whenever scanning missions are done, that's when they would like to bring her back.
Okay.
They did say that they re-recorded audio for initially for 3.0 they had recorded.
They had the actors in for what we think was Squadron, and the actual actress for Tessa you see in the Squadron demo. She was the young girl with the really short hair
that was fixing the ship or something, right?
Yeah.
So so
then they had her voice for that.
That is pretty much it for the content in the doc. If there's anything that we missed, which there very much maybe
probably is,
feel free to ask that question in. First and foremost, we're going to go into our calls here. Little sponsor drop.
My favorite part.
The call section and the 1-800 number is provided by Ting. They do rates and not plans. With Ting, you don't pick a plan. Your usage during the month, talk, text, and data are what you pay for at the end of the month. Talk, text, and data are all billed separately, so if you don't use any text or you don't use any data, you're not billed for that. The base cost for just the phone line is $6 a month. So if you don't use your phone at all, which is kind of like me, right? I just use my home data. It's like $6 a month, okay? If you're often on Wi-Fi, whatever, you can do that. There's no contracts. You can leave whenever. You can even try for yourself. Go ahead and give their helpline a call. You'll go right through to a person. None of the robot trees and all that nonsense of holding for 30 hours like everybody does with, our ISPs and our phones and all that other stuff. Also, if you go to redacted.ting.com, you'll get $25 credit towards your first bill. And the average bill is only $23. So if you want to try it out, you live in the United States, you can try it out for free. Try the SIM card for a month. If you don't like it, cancel it and keep your original phone as well. And you can try for free for that month, see how it goes. And support the people who support us. Thumbs up. That being said, we have 2 calls in. So, our first call. Here we go.
Hey, baby, it's Commander 420. Just checking in on
Commander 420.
Hey, y'all. I've been blitzed off the Magic Toupe and Truffles since Monday. And now everything's looking like lights happening at 4 frames per second. What the hell do I do? I wake up in bed and I go to sit up, and I'm just frozen to bed. sudden I'm standing. I don't know how I got there. I didn't see me stand up. So did I just wait for this to, fix itself, or should I just sit down the mushroom? I don't really know. Either way, church, preach, appreciate all you. Love you, players.
Preach. Love you too, Commander 420.
Appreciate it, church.
Appreciate you.
That being said, I mean, that's kind of what we're doing, right? That's what at least I'm doing. And I know Twerk's doing this.
We're waiting for the magic 3.0.1 mushrooms to wear off too.
128 gigs of RAM, please.
Yes. Buy more RAM. I heard GPUs are coming down in price as well. So they're normalizing, apparently. Word on the street. But yeah, thank you for calling in. Always Commander 420. We appreciate it. But in terms of answering your question, to be honest, I'm personally just waiting for 3.1. It shouldn't be too far, to be honest. We're looking at a month and a half before it's here. At least before it's coming into the PTU, I would imagine. So, yeah. I mean, it's not too far. I'll check it out once or twice a week while we're waiting on it. But if my suggestion to most people is just hang on. If we hear or you hear out there, either from a streamer or the subreddit or the forums or something, that they do something like turn off interdiction and the frame rates go back up, or they do some other sort of change in the back end,
which I think there's
and the
a
frame rates
chance
go back up. That chance is there, and I am very much advocating for that, as you guys know.
Yeah. It's not adding anything.
If they do that before 3.1, then I think they're going to start to see a lot more people playing because the frame rates will be more reasonable. So thank you for calling in. Our next question, another call in here. Here we go. Hello.
Hey there, guys. This is Claude. My first time calling in. I'm actually the guy who posted the question on Ask the Devs last week. You guys talked about with pirates and cheating, and never expected that to go so viral as it did. I think it actually made for some interesting points on both sides of the spectrum. In any case, I'm calling in with another question. I'm hoping you guys know the answer. If not, maybe you can speculate. I understand you're going to be able to acquire, a piece of a planet in the coming versions. I think it was 3.1, where you can get a plot of land, right?
It's 3.4.
Is that where your hangars are actually going to go? And if so, if you own 3 ships and with each ship comes a hangar, does that mean you can only get 3 plots of land? Or will you be able to buy additional plots of land? And just kind of curious how that whole mechanic you think is going to work. And I assume if they do it in 3.1, it's going to get reset the same way UEC gets reset when they release new versions. If you choose a plot of land and change your mind, that may be a way that you can get your hangar back. I don't know. Just looking for some speculation. One last thing is just a little gripe of my own. You guys, awesome podcast. Love you guys. Listen to you all the time. But I like to listen to you in the car, so I don't want the video aspect of it. And it's about a week before the audio only seems to show up. I don't know if that's anything you guys can do or control or speed up, but would love it if the audio came out at the same time as the YouTube video. In any case, again, love everything you guys are doing. Keep up the great work. I appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you in the verse. Bye.
Okay,
awesome.
To start, I'll answer the last question. That is 100% my fault. My in real life has been very, very busy, and I am the most forgetful human on earth. And if I don't do it directly after the podcast, I tend to forget to do it. So it was a week late last week, and it wasn't done this week. So that is on me. I apologize. It will be done directly after the podcast today.
And I've watched streams with my phone. You can just go audio only.
Yeah, but it does use more data.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't.
Oh, you can use audio only.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was an option.
In the morning when I'm driving to work and Twerk's on, if I'm in stream, I'm probably in my car and I'm just listening. Yeah. So that's why I'm terribly interactive with chat.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he just posts a few emotes whenever he's at a stoplight.
In regards to
my thing.
The first thing that you talked about, number one, the plots of land I don't believe are coming in until 3.4. Number two, in terms of hangars going on the plots of land, we don't know yet. They don't know yet whether that's going to be sort of, I imagine that's probably what they're going to work towards. And then the other thing is that's not the limit on how many you can have. That's just how many you start with at the beginning of the game. So say you have 4 ships with 4 hangars, or like you said, you had 3 ships with 3 hangars. You have those 3 hangar that you're going to be able to choose where they are when the game launches.
Hangars, though, really, do we?
Well, that's what they've told us.
Sources, that's all like procedural planet stuff, right? So like that whole system, the whole hangar thing, all that can possibly change. And for those of you that really want to know the answer to that question, go right to Spectrum. Go to the February questions thread for Ask a Devs. There is that specific question.
I'm just going on the information that we already have.
Right.
No, I know. And I'll link to that question for everybody in chat right now.
Yeah,
okay,
we should prop that one up. So with regards to the hangar, like they used to sell, maybe they still sell Rebel New York as a $50 standalone hangar, right? And people originally thought you buy that hangar, you get to drop a second, third, fourth, fifth hangar somewhere. But I believe that was originally
what they said.
They wanted it.
That's what they wanted.
That was the plan, but
I think it still is because the reason I say it still is because the universe is going to be quite large, and traveling from one system to another and all of this is going to be a lot of work. So if you have hangars in different areas, now we know that you can own them, and they also said that and this is once again is previous information. All of this is subject to change, even if they said it yesterday. But I'm just going on our latest information of what this was. They said that you're going to be able to own multiple hangars, or you'll even be able to rent some of them if you just need it temporarily. I imagine they will tie that into some of the land stuff. We don't have any confirmation on that. That's just me spitballing.
So on me spitballing as well, rather than spending $50 for Rebel in York hangar, I think it would be more intelligent to take the $50 and just go buy another starter package, because then you get a character.
100%. I think he's just asking about the ships that come with the hangars.
Okay.
Right.
But I'm just, as a PSA, anyone, please don't buy a hangar. And if you already have, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Just because it's hard to tell what's happening with them.
And then
people lead them?
Our written questions. First one's from Matt White Paint Job. Do you think they will make a system that we can paint our ships in mad logos, or just completely make a paint skin and share it? Also, do you think you will be able to put your organization's logo on a ship or building you own, or even flags? So this is something that I talked about before. Number one, I think they're going to do ships in maybe not fully custom paint, but being able to change the color of the textures and maybe some of the patterns of the textures. So maybe a primary, secondary, tertiary, fourth, fifth color, whatever. So being able to do that. Also, in terms of having org logos in game, we don't know if that's going to be a thing. We've seen that that's been a thing in other CryEngine games. We know it's possible. They know it's possible. It's just, it depends on if they want to implement that. If they do implement that, then yes, I would think you should be able to put it on your ship, your clothes, your armor, a flag, in your outposts that you build, just like the outposts that they have now have their logos. You should be able to put your org logo and stuff in those, all of that stuff.
It's a matter of like
has banners across the side of it.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of how much customization they want to do. Because what if your org logo is a giant penis? You know what I mean?
Obviously, then
there has to be like
that would be moderated.
Well, but I think there's
what it'll have
the
to
thing
happen.
is there's other games that do this and they do it just fine. And the best example I can think of is Arcade, right? You pay for that.
The biggest example is the average age of a person, Star System backer, is typically much higher than most of the other games that are being played out there, right?
Yeah. And if, like, in Battlefield, it's automatically... In Battlefield, it's automatically... you can go in and click report.
Yes.
So if someone puts up a swastika or a penis or something, and you take offense to it, you click it, and then it'll automatically become alerted and will be taken down.
And then they can take a look at it. Instead of them having to review every single one, they can review just the ones. And then so maybe somebody decides they want to tag mine, right? Say they see my logo and they just want to troll me, and they tag mine. But if it goes through and they've already checked it and they've already approved it, they can make sure that it's approved, and any more checks, they just know it's trolling and they don't even have to look at it anymore. So it's not going to waste
to
unnecessary time. So that just means that they won't need to go through every single one. They'll just need to go through the ones that get reported. Gabriel Rej. I think it's Gabriel Ray. I may be pronouncing that wrong. I don't know. What do you think will some of the metagames of Star Citizen, and how do you think they will work? It's going to be a massively complicated game, so naturally meta won't just be get best ships, but it'll have some interesting endgame activities like selling information or seeking and trading the best ship components. So this is a question that I don't think is answerable at this point in time.
There's so many.
It's the meta. The reason it's the meta is it's because all of the final things are in place, and it's usually something that's not intended or is sort of like a hidden thing, right? Like it's like we need more information than what we have now to understand what the meta is going to be.
This kind of brings up something interesting. What's coming, and we can kind of talk about this right now, I guess, is what's coming this week for Star Citizen starting tomorrow is a ATV update on ship balance and weapon balance, or weapon balance in particular, and then an RTV on the same thing.
Yeah.
Why?
More to follow. I don't know.
It's just it's really hard to see weapon balance and ship balance and all that stuff when your frames are 15 or lower. And then,
well, not only that, we also need to know what the other ships are going to be capable of doing in terms of the professions and all of that stuff, which is going to be a huge thing on what that metagame is going to be, right? If the metagame is mining, because mining's a little bit easier.
Cargo, right?
Yeah, or right now it's cargo, or it's mining, or scanning, or exploration, or something else. We just don't know because we don't have it yet. So you can't really speculate on that kind of stuff. Not at this stage, anyways. Maybe closer within beta, or once we have all those mechanics in, we can sort of get even more of an idea. But even then, you won't really know. The meta is sort of what it is at the time, and that's something that sort of fluctuates as the game goes on, even after the games are released.
Like League of Legends, right? I don't play it. I don't know anything about it, but what I do understand is there's some heroes that nobody uses because they're not part of the current meta, and then heroes come out of nowhere that are being used because now they're part of the current meta.
Yeah.
Well, you'll see it in AC as well. You know, you'll know if you go into AC and all you see is Super
When
Hornets.
the Saber came in, everything changed.
Right. And then it's been back and forth, you know, like the Super Hornet's still known as the tank, but if you M50 was definitely a meta for a bit of time there because it was very difficult to hit, and you could load 2.2 something on it. You know, ballistics were a meta because of the shield bug. So I guess right now, everyone pretty much who plays AC realizes that the TTK is really high, whether that's intended or a bug or whatever. I'm not a dev, but I know that it used to take me 18 minutes to get through 18 waves with a couple people, and now it just doesn't. It's like 45 to 60 minutes, depending on if you're AC, Pirate Swarm, or Vandal Swarm, or any of the other ones. Mm-hmm. But so when they said that 3.1 was going to come with a balance pass, that didn't piss me off at all. That actually made me extremely happy because I know many citizens, all they want to do is spend their time in AC, and it's almost like AC was purposely broken so that more people would want to go play in Persistent Universe. And if that was remotely done on purpose, please don't do that, because there are a lot of people that only want to sit in AC.
That was so Canadian.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Well, it's dumb, right?
No, yeah.
Let people play however they want. Don't break different components to make others more tangible.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I don't think they did that on purpose. Just features came in and it broke others.
Yeah, and that wasn't. Likely. I agree.
But
don't.
For me, I am. Don't get me wrong. What I said before is I'm actually happy they're putting in the weapons balance for the reasons that you said. Is that like playing those game modes are awful, right? So a weapon balance against this, that, or the other thing, or against the NPCs is fine, but that's more like ship health and hull health that the NPCs have, rather than this weapon does this versus this,
sponge.
Right?
They are. Yeah. It's like playing the Division, for Christ's sakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nice. So like that I understand, but I think what we're going to see tomorrow is something totally different. Like if they even mention a missile, Like, they don't. Missiles are the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. They haven't worked since 1 point something, right? So it's just like,
or they worked really well, Rattler.
Yeah, or they work too well, like a Rattler. So it's just like, I don't know. I don't see the point of the discussion of it on an ATV or an RTV yet. Like, in a beta, in a later stage where the FPS is maybe just after 3.1, then I can see it being an ATV special. When they did the flying stuff, fine. I thought that was an important discussion to have and feedback. But right now, it's hard for, as a Star Citizen player personally, to have any feedback on what guns. And first off, I can't buy the guns in the game.
I don't do combat because it's so off.
It's hard. But if you can't buy the guns in the game, in the PU at least, you can't figure out what the meta is, what you want to play, what guns you like, what guns you don't. This is imbalanced versus this. I mean, the only thing you can really see is that EMP was not balanced, right? There was some issue with that, and they fixed that in 3.0.1. But I just don't see it as an ATV or RTV discussion just yet. And I'm kind of dreading next week's podcast, potentially. It could either be really good or it could be really, really hard to get through with discussion topics, because ATV and RTV are going to be kind of dry for podcast discussion, I would think.
Our next question is from Cataphor, and I already have the answer to this, so I'm going to burn through this real quick. Would it be a good idea for Star Citizen and players if they added free ship rotations every week? 2 weeks, month, or whatever. So a ship is added for a week. You're accounted temporarily for X amount of time. When the time is up, you get a new ship for the next week or month. This would be something that give players that want to try out a ship but not having the money to do so. It would also add gameplay for players to test the idea. To do this, they could even let players try out skins on ships' vehicles. Yep, they monetize that. That is going through, you need to be a subscriber and you get a new ship every month. That is not going to get unmonetized.
No.
So, unfortunately.
But don't you, like, some PTU builds...
Every PTU build, I have access to pretty much everything, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I guess that's kind of behind a paywall as well, right? That you...
No.
You get
first dibs at it.
Right.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on in my headset?
Our next question is from Lifemaker. Are there any major technologies that you can think of that are needed for Squadron 42 besides capital ship subsumption, which are not mentioned in the current roadmap for 2018? Considering this, what do you think is an earliest realistical release of Squadron 42? I'm not... I talked about earliest Squadron 42 release next year, second quarter next year. But
they've
in terms
talked
of
about the AI subsumption on capital ships, plenty. In the monthly report and other things.
I want to see this. I want to see the
roadmap.
I want to see the roadmap for Squadron 42. They said we were going to have it last month. We still don't have it. Hopefully we will get it soon. It's hard to say until then. Give me 1 second. I just lost the monitor. I don't know if you guys have the questions up. Feel free to ask the next one.
I don't right now. I'll bring them up. But yeah, I don't know. Let me get them up right now, though. Sorry.
We could take a question from chat.
Our next question is from KBBW.
There you go. He got it.
Will pirates be able to buy military-grade ships in-game like Hammerheads, Idrises, and Javelins? Seeing that it would be weird if a person with a major crime stat would buy a Javelin from the UEE. I imagine you will be able to buy them, but it'll be based on a reputation thing. That being said, a pirate can still steal one of those ships, so it wouldn't be that weird to see someone with
start with one.
Yeah, or start with one. Exactly. There's Idris M.
Yeah,
is a military ship. So yeah, that will definitely be a thing. Skyven Razgriz says, what do you guys think about 301? A big improvement or half-cooked? Cheers. It fixed one thing for me, and that was the ship's
2 steps forward,
doors.
3 steps back?
Yeah. But the missions still aren't completable. The admins still don't work. The rest of the if those don't work, none of the missions finish. So I still haven't been able to trigger anything. And it's awesome that maybe reputation carries over. I haven't been able to find out because every server I join, the missions don't work. So
I have a funny story about that. I was at the Port Olisar mission receiver where you can drop off the cargo.
Yeah.
And there was just like 4 or 5 boxes on the ground. And
people just gave up.
Yeah.
Just like, fuck it. This
Fuck
is done.
this. I'm done.
Our next question is from Timbalara. He says, "Hey guys, for my birthday today, happy birthday. I bought from my buyback a Banning Merchantman to have as an escort additional cargo storage. Along with my main ship, which is a Hope class Endeavor, what other ships do you think I should secure to have an escort for this mini fleet? Or otherwise complement the fleet. Primary purpose for this fleet is to be a medical center and place to get gray market cybernetics. I am always someone that's going to say, I'm going to tell you to hold off until those ships are in the game. At the very least. At the very least. Well, there's no point in getting something that's not in the game yet right now. At the very least. I would even say just wait till you can earn it in game and make those your initial goals. But in terms of ships, you're going to probably want something like a Hammerhead or like Nubifier's Head or something with some massive firepower to sort of protect that.
And to protect you, and that's a good compliment. But if you're looking for something that's more along the line of the non-combat roles, I mean, you can maybe go with the Hull series ship to carry those cybernetics.
I can tell you though,
purchasing in bulk.
The Cutlass Reds, once we know more about those as well, may be helpful.
That is in the Hope class Endeavor concept art as the ship that's landed on it.
Yeah. So, but once again, wait until we have more information about those ships and potentially even if those ships are in game. Giran says, after seeing CIG playing around, changing old items and deleting some of them like the workbench, do you think we should be worried about old items like the F7A hull body kits for the Hornets and they will just be like, here, a refund, forget this ever existed for this years you have been waiting?
No, there are certain things that are like the Holy Grail that you shouldn't touch.
I don't think anybody really cared about the workbench.
No, and that's what I mean. Like, nobody cared about the workbench, but there are people that are crazy about their other perks.
Like, if you get rid of my fish, I'm going to be kind of bummed out, man. Like, I want my fish.
Did you name them all?
No, but still.
I want my fish too.
That was cool.
The lobster at the bottom.
That being said, I could definitely get rid of that first fish tank because now I have 2 and I don't need 2. I only need 1. Same thing with the buggy. I don't need 2 buggies. I have 1.
My fourth gray cat.
Yeah, exactly. Proximus says, on another note, what did you guys think of yesterday's Falcon Heavy SpaceX launch? Okay, so Elon Musk's timeline. Hey, I want to make a company called The Boring Company. That company's going to bore tunnels under Los Angeles. Neat. We're going to sell hats through The Boring Company. Okay, we sold a lot of hats. Let's sell some flamethrowers. Awesome, flamethrowers, cool. Sold 20,000 of those. All right, well, we're going to put up the biggest rocket ever that's ever gone up. And not only is it going to launch a fucking electric car into space, but it's also going to land twice, or the 2 boosters are going to land on their own. It's like, sweet baby Jesus.
That was like, we were talking about that before stream in the green room, and I just thought it was so beast. You know, like, I was trying to show Mrs. Nubifier. Mrs. Nubifier wanted nothing to do with it. She doesn't give a shit about it. She goes, who cares? It's just 2 space dicks coming out of space and landing at the same time. And I'm like, no, you don't understand how cool this is. And
like, this is the first step to going to Mars, right?
Well, it's because they're reusable rockets, so it dramatically decreases the price of everything. So now you're just paying for fuel.
Not have to buy new ones all the time.
Having to use a new rocket.
Car to work and crashing it into a wall, and then buying a new car and driving it back home and crashing it into a wall.
Or like having an electric car, like an old AA battery that's not rechargeable. You drive it and then it's done, and then that's it. And you got to buy a new one.
You just throw it out.
Yeah, like those old throwaway cameras.
So
remember?
To answer the original question, I thought it was beast. Mrs.
It's pretty
Nubifier,
fucking awesome.
Let's say fair.
Yeah, we watched it here on the stream, and it was pretty cool. I think everybody's pretty excited about it, and I know he's trying to get a space race going. He was talking about that in an interview the other day. Also, on another note, completely sidetracked. Did you guys see the new trailer for Deadpool with Cable in it? Okay, you need to watch that. It's in the Discord. It's in the general on the Discord. And
cool.
if anybody in chat isn't a part of our Discord, what the fuck are you doing? Exclamation point Discord, or go to discord.gg/redacted and get your ass in there.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin does a fucking awesome job of Cable. Also, yeah, it's very Deadpool. So go check it out. I watched it this morning. Tex Winchester. With the expected price jump of the Cutlass when 3.0 was launched and still no increase on the new website launch, can we still expect the price rise? And if so, how much do you think we can expect it to increase by? Thanks and keep up the good work.
Maybe not.
I don't think it's going to get an increase now.
No. So the original idea was it's becoming better, so it needs to be balanced in the store so that it doesn't make the freelancers suck more. However, when I actually thought about it, how many cutlasses are out there? Like, there's got to be 10,000 cutlasses in circulation.
Already.
As soon as that value goes up to listen to me. As soon as the
cost of them goes up.
The cost, right, goes up to 150. What's effectively happening is 10,000 pledges times $50. Now you can go buy a Taurus or CCU to a Taurus for $0, and you've only paid $100. So there were citizens around Christmas who just bought 10, 15, 20 cutlasses just so that they could capitalize on the future speculation that it would go up. And if you've decided to not do that, that makes total sense because it's actually a very good starter ship. It's a nice entry point. It's still $100, but whatever. Everyone pretty much eventually gets there anyways. And why not have a Cutlass? Because it is actually a really good ship.
Okay.
Yeah. Next question from Ryo Cashian. I butchered the shit out of that name. Hey guys, great stream.
Really good with names.
We know they initially tried implementing serialized variables-based buying calling during 3.0 P2, but it didn't work out. I think it was more of a test than seeing if it was going to work out or not. We're seeing fast progress in developing network calling for 3.1 based on the roadmap, from 110 to 511 tasks completed in 1 week. However, did they give a short explanation to why serial-based buying calling didn't work? Or is it just general speculation that some things needed refactoring until we see something in Bug Smashers or in ATV, considering we haven't got a network-based segment on ATV since the serialized variables last year mid? So, two things.
I don't know.
Number one, we were supposed to get a netcode episode of ATV on January whatever. That just disappeared in the ether. Don't know what happened with that.
And they won't talk about it.
They're not talking about it. And then number two is, like I said, I think that was more of a test than them wanting to actually implement it. They just wanted, the only way for them to really test the serialized variables is to put it on live, right? There's no way for them to test that internally. So it was probably like, okay, we've done this, this, and this. Let's see if this part is actually working. That's part one of 20 parts or something. And I think that was more of the case than, oh, we're trying to implement it and it's not done yet, so we're not going to implement it. So hopefully that answers your questions, guys. Let me just do a quick refresh, and I think that is it for our questions. So thank you.
I have a question.
Oh,
I also have a question.
So
this is weird.
It's more of a suggestion / question to CIG. With every single patch, there's always those people that have extreme difficulty playing, and there's some people that seemingly are on Chris Roberts' private server. I've been accused of that.
Board gamer, same thing. So because of the wide range of system specs that we all own, because we're not playing on console, thank God, it's obvious that some people have 8 gigs, solid state hard drives, first gen, some decent graphics card, i5, whatever. It would be very neat if everyone who is playtesting at CIG wasn't on, twin X's with the best cores and the 128 gigs of RAM. It'd be very cool if they would have a scattering of
I'm sure they probably do. Any decent QA department that I am aware of has everything from the shittiest computers to the nicest ones. And the only reason I say that is because one of my old roommates used to work QA for Microsoft. for Gears of War and stuff like that. And he had shitty systems, and then he was really excited because then he had like the best, like crazy. He had a quad Titan system with like the craziest stuff.
Use the shittiest system.
Well, no, the thing is it's their job to try all of them.
Yeah,
right.
Okay.
And so it's like this week we're working on this, or AMD stuff this week, or we're trying it with these settings or these drivers and all kinds of stuff. And I think that they actually do that.
Okay. And I know I'm like not the only person to think of stuff like that. That makes sense that would be a part of the testing protocol.
Yeah.
No. My question is, I forgot it. I don't remember. Oh,
Come on,
no.
chat,
No, I don't remember what it was. Fuck. I'm sorry.
You said it was something weird.
So Matt Sherman just said that.
No,
only
I do remember.
I reminded you.
Yeah, you did. Well, actually, looking at the stream reminded me. Somebody was asking, and I want to just clarify. If you're anywhere in the world, you can call the Ting number toll-free, correct?
Yes, it's free.
Free in
it doesn't
Romania, free in Spain,
anywhere.
Free.
What are you waiting
It's a 1-800 number.
Yeah, somebody asked, and I think they were a little hesitant to call.
Yeah, it's a 1-800 number, so it's free. That's why it's toll-free. So it's paid for on our end, which is paid for by Ting. So if you haven't already, go to redacted.ting.com and support the companies that support us.
There you go. That was my question, but then I also want to discuss a little something. We're done with the questions, right?
Yep.
Okay. Somebody asked a question about what happened to all the content creators in the Discord. So the little categories that we had. So Source and I went through one day and we're like, we want to improve the Discord, and we decided to do the category thing. And then we saw that it kind of spread all the conversations out in the Discord and like really thin. And we decided that like maybe it would be a good idea to condense everything to like general and consolidate everything to a few channels where everybody's discussing. And then if we feel that we need to add another channel because that's kind of a topic that's being discussed a ton, and maybe it's clogging out any like normal general conversation that's going on, we decided to do it that way. So that's kind of what's happened to the Discord. I think one thing that's going to get added, that's one of the things I'm going to be doing this week, is adding more rewards for the Patreon. And one of the rewards at a certain level, I haven't decided yet, I won't do it until I talk to the team, is a Discord channel. And maybe we're probably going to take a few questions per podcast from those guys, because those are the people that help support the team. So we might as well give them a little bit of a perk or something like that. So we'll definitely have a Patreon channel in the Discord. But so some changes are happening, and that was one of them.
So there you go.
Give us any feedback on it, please.
Yeah, feel free. We have a feedback channel in there.
Yeah. Unless I deleted it by accident. I'm sorry, the Dank Memes channel I deleted by accident.
No, there's a feedback channel in there. So click on it. And but yeah. That being said, what are you up to this week, and where can people find you? We'll start with Noobifier. You're muted.
Oh yeah, push to talk. Thank you. I'm Noobifier1337 on pretty much all social media. I hover around YouTube mostly, no bullshit. And immediately after this podcast, what I was working on today, Substitute for Board Gamer, we love you. I'm going to be releasing a video that I've titled What We Need from the Service Beacon, and that has to do with how we can maybe stack some contracts so that if Twerk and I don't know each other, but Twerk puts out a mission, I can pick up that mission and then automatically share the funds with my team, like if I bring a team to that. So hopefully value-added questions and stuff like that. And thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Yeah, thanks for joining. And where can people find you?
Oh, on YouTube as Noobifier1337, Twitter, Twitch, even if you really want to subscribe to me here, and Facebook.
There you go. Baseballs. And Twerk, what are you up to this week? Where can people find you?
I like now. Today was the first day that I played 3.0.1 because I've been working so much. My work week is much more common this week, so I will be streaming every day until my normal day off on Tuesday. But I don't exactly know what I'm going to be streaming because we kind of discussed early on about the difficulties of playing Star System right now. So tomorrow, of course, we'll do the normal ATV watching or Friday for me, but. Those type of things. We'll have our Star Citizen discussions, but what games I'll be playing, I'm not sure. And I owe everybody a pretty big giveaway for last month because of my work schedule. I haven't been able to do it yet. So this coming Sunday, we will be giving away a Cutlass amongst other things.
All right. And Twerk, what day is the podcast on?
It is Wednesday,
on
my
Wednesday.
dudes.
Jesus Christ, I didn't know about that at the end. Rip ears. Sorry, everybody.
And that's why I have my Discord sounds compressed, so I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah. That being said, I'm going to be playing a lot of Escape from Tarkov, probably in the evenings. I may jump on now and then for some. Yeah, I'm just seeing chat now as I catch up. For some Star Citizen here and there, but it's definitely going to be toned out back quite a bit until everything sort of gets fixed. That being said, you can find me on twitch.tv/WTFosaurus, which is right here, or on Twitter, right? You can get pictures of my dog that I miss so much.
How many more weeks?
Super dog.
On the 23rd, I get her back. So, and that's at twitter.com/WTFosaurus. And once again, sorry about that, guys. Love you all in the face. Thank you so much for being here. Even when it's slow like this. We love you guys. Take care, and we will see you next week.
Thank you for the support, everybody.
Bye.